What's up, Bulls Nation? Welcome in to a fresh week of the CHGO Bulls podcast presented to you by PointsBet. Don't forget that promo code CHGO when you sign up to live your bet life. I'm Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. My guys, Big Dave at BAWL Sports, and back stateside, back home in the U.S. of A.
So close,
long-winded trip to
but
Brazil.
so far.
It's Will the Goat Gottlieb. No longer the thrill in Brazil. He's just the thrill back home.
Yeah, you guys gotta come up with a new nickname for me.
Oh, you know I got a million of them, Will.
I still like Thrillenium. That's like one of the best I've ever had. That's fantastic. That is
Follow
fantastic
Will on
stuff.
Twitter at Will Gottlieb. We are CHGO_Bulls on Twitter. Shout out to our comments popping off, Samity already, and Dontavius, who is correct in pointing out that we are 1 week away from Bulls Media Day, Monday, September 26th, which also kicks off officially Bulls training camp. Today being the 19th of September, we are also today 1 month exactly from the regular season opener on October 19th. Plenty to get to on today's show. We're going to be talking about who we see as a potential Most Improved Player award winner across the NBA this upcoming season, and then also if the Bulls were to give out that award for someone on their team, who would make the biggest strides and win Most Improved Player on this Bulls roster for the upcoming 22-23 season. We also this morning got some updates on the upcoming CBA talks deadline, December 15th, and some new rules that might be in place, including lowering the draft age minimum and some luxury tax stuff. And then we will also touch on the news that Antetokounmpo will be at Bulls training camp. Antetokounmpo, Kostas. Still very exciting. But first and foremost, a few things to kick off today's show. Will, welcome home officially.
Yes.
How are you? And give us your biggest one highlight of your summer sojourn to South America.
Ooh, biggest highlight. I might need to defer that to giving myself a little bit more time to think of one, but I can tell you what was not a highlight, which is flying home overnight on a cramped plane and getting coffee spilled on you early on in the flight and not being able to sleep. That was not a highlight, but I'm here. I made it, and I'm glad to be back. I'm so close, but so far away from you guys. We need to get to tomorrow so I can go to the studio and actually see you face to face.
Wait, were you in the middle seat or something?
No, I was in an aisle seat. I thought I played it really well. I was like close to the part where you can like stand up, like near the bathrooms, you know how they have on bigger planes. You can like walk around a little bit. I like thought I gamed it well. It wasn't gonna be too close, wasn't gonna be too far, and just not a great flight. It was bumpy.
Was it the spilled coffee that prevented you from sleeping, or were those just, adjacent problems with the flight?
Adjacent problems, yeah. And it was just compounding. And then you start to just think about how miserable you are on the flight the whole time, and it just makes you even more claustrophobic. And yeah, it was a rough one. I'm glad to be off the plane.
Did you have anything to watch? Anything that you could, try to take your mind off of stuff?
I've been watching. Okay, so I watched it, through when it was coming out, Ozark, but I for some reason did not watch the final season. So my girlfriend hadn't watched Ozark yet, so I started watching like season 2 or 3 with her. And now I'm just catching up to the point where it's like season 4, part 2, episode 7 through 14. So I'm just getting into that, which has been fun.
Well, that's a good way to kill some.
Yeah,
some
good way
hours
to kill some hours. Exactly.
Yeah. We've got some more fresh nicknames for you coming in from Bulls Nation in the comments. Samity saying Willennium the Thrillenium, playing a DJ set near you, and Colin saying Will the Thrill back in ill. Have you guys ever used the abbreviation IL when referring to Illinois? The ILL, no. I've heard sometimes, especially for like U of I, ILL, but I don't know if I've ever heard IL be used as an abbreviation for Illinois.
I like where your head's at, but yes, I have not heard that either.
Does the ill sound better? It doesn't sound better to me.
Well, you say the ill. I'm straight from the ill. Yeah, that could work. I can take that. Straight
Sounds cool when you say it.
I'm going to defer to you on that one, Big Dave. Believe it or not.
Everything's smoother when Dave says it.
Yeah,
just a fact.
Exactly.
It's a reality of life.
Well, glad you made it home safe, Will, and looking forward to seeing you in the studio tomorrow. I got a hug for you, and I got some Michigan
big
tweets
hugs
for you.
Yeah, I got treats for Will too. Will gonna get
all
that.
Will's getting all the treats.
He's getting all the treats.
Before we move on to some Bulls things, I just wanted to touch on this. And look, I know that Bulls Nation is everywhere, and not all of you are Chicago sports fans across the board. But this is CHGO, and we are all about Chicago and Chicago community and Chicago sports fandom on this network. We have to address the fact that it is a Bears-Packers Monday.
Yes.
Another loss to Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in prime time. And firstly, I just wanted to address the fourth member of our team, Mark K.
Yes.
Who I don't know if you guys saw.
Wait, what? Why?
Was jumping in a DM on Twitter between the four of us, making jokes comparing Justin Fields to Patrick Williams and their career expectations.
Oh, word?
Yeah. Trying to be all like clever and coy about it and whatever, and being a smart ass. And then had the tenacity to put the Aaron Rodgers "I still own you" gif into this DM between the four of us, and then saying, "Oh, like I give you guys a hard time to show love." Mark, we love you back. There are a few things in my Chicago sports fandom that I do not find amusing. And the Bears getting their asses handed to them in prime time by the Packers again for the 40-something time in my lifetime as a Bears fan is something I do not find funny. So watch yourself. I know you Aussies don't give a crap about American football, and that's fine. Do not tempt me, and do not judge how serious I get when it comes to Bears-Packers. I do not take it lightly. I am in a shit mood today, as every Bears fan is. Tread lightly, Mark.
I like how he said
I might
that.
have to cancel CHGO Bulls HQ Fridays this week.
I like that he's saying that tread lightly because he's got the Walter White beard going right now. That's all that popped in my head when he said
I am the one who knocks.
Right. Tread lightly. Like, oh, man. I didn't even know that was going on. Like, that's awesome. But I don't know. I would probably laugh at it because it's hard to, to make me upset.
I can laugh at a lot of things. When you tease me about Dwayne Wade or Will tease me about Jimmy or whatever, there are certain things I will not tolerate. Okay. And it is taking Bears-Packers lightly. I cannot do it. I will not abide it. This shit will not stand. Watch yourself, Mark.
I won't go into it because I live it. So I understand why he feels this way. But I don't know. I thought they were going to lose. You don't want to hear my positive spin on this game, so I'm going to leave it alone and take it down a little bit. But yeah, they took an L again to the Packers. And what it's been since Thanksgiving 2015, since they beat the Packers at Lambeau Field. I remember that well because my niece, unfortunately, Matt, is a big Aaron Rodgers fan. And I let her have it all night long when the Bears won.
You need to give your niece a lobotomy. Good Lord.
Yeah. she like what she like, man. Trust me, I mess with her
every 10 years. You could probably get away with that.
Oh, dude, I mess with her. She's a Russell Westbrook fan. And so when Dame
cancels
Lillard,
each other out.
Yeah. When Dame Lillard hit that shot on OKC, I sent her a Dame Lillard jersey. And I know she doesn't turn down free stuff, but she had no idea who it was from. So for a while, she was just walking around with this Dame Lillard jersey and had no idea who sent it to her until she came to the house. And I was just like,
such a Dave Watson prank. Just buying somebody a really nice thing anonymously. That's just absolutely on brand. If you ever try to mess with me, just send you a whatever nice Damian Lillard jersey.
After our MJ and Brady discussion in one of our episodes last week, and then I found like the latest TMZ headline talking about how Brady and Giselle are on their way to Splitsville. And I was like, see, Dave? See? Ha! And his response was like, well, I hope they work it out. Splitting up is always hard, especially when kids are involved.
It's a marriage, man.
Like, come on, man. Why you got to have human feelings about this? Just let me be an asshole. Marriage.
Yeah, you don't want to see a marriage crumble. That's not fun. There's kids in here, man. It's not fun times for that, man. But yeah, like that's what stuff I do. I do jerk stuff, but with love.
There's nothing jerk about that. You're just buying someone a nice
trust
thing.
Me. Oh no. It's a jerk move because she's not a fan of Damian Lillard.
If you ever want to get into a fight with me about anything, I'll know who sent me the nice jersey.
So you're a jersey of somebody that you despise. That's like when I bought Matt a Dwayne Wade poster. It's the same thing. You know, he can't stand Dwayne Wade. I bought him a Dwayne Wade poster.
Right in the trash.
Right in the trash is where he took. I framed it too, Will. I framed it.
I will say it must be nice as somebody who, I don't know why Mark of all teams would pick the Bulls, but like to not have to also go through rooting for the Cubs your whole life before they won the World Series and the Bears who haven't won anything since 1985, to just get to not have to deal with that must be a little bit nice. Although he did pick the Bulls, so
so it gets a little bit okay.
So he gets tortured in a certain way, but
I'm sure there are other teams in Australia he's fans of that nobody knows about that don't win.
And I mean, like, you know, the Bulls and their fan base went through some dark years there post Jimmy. We all know, we were all there. There are few things, and probably only one thing, that can get me as rattled and frustrated and angry as the Bulls failing, and it's the Bears failing against the Packers. That's just how it works. That is how it works. That's how I was raised. I hate Green Bay, and I hate their Hall of Fame quarterbacks with a passion that boils my blood. And I especially hate when we have to watch them lose in prime time and watch these primetime broadcasters fillet Aaron Rodgers to the ends of the earth. I'm freaking sick of it. And I did not appreciate that, Mark K. Did not appreciate it.
Dang, he took that serious right there.
Well, just in time for the Bulls to come back. We got a week before training camp. Yes. We had the 1 week, 2 weeks of Bears glow, and now it's all over. It's Bulls season.
Bears are 1-1. It's all downhill from here.
Bulls ain't even played. It's just like, this is just the worst.
October 2nd, baby.
Quickly, before we move to that news about Bulls training camp and its newest attendee, anyone mad at Justin Fields for what he said today is an idiot. And I will hear none of it from any of you.
Dude,
a quarterback saying that me and my 52 teammates in there care more than a fan does, he's right. He's not wrong when he said we're in there working our tails off. We're on that practice field working our tails off. Blood, sweat, and tears out on the field just now. We care more than you. Bears fans or Bulls fans, if Zach LaVine had said that or DeMar had said that after a tough loss, they are correct to say that, and any Chicago sports fan has a problem with what Justin Fields said today is a freaking idiot. Go home. Stop talking.
The second he said that, I was watching it live. The second he said it, I said, oh, no. And I rewound it on the DVR, and I said, oh, no, he didn't say that. They about to get my guy. And he's right. Everything Matt said, I agree with, but I know how this town works. And I know the second he said that, that was on the way out, immediately.
But like, I get it. I'm with you guys. But like, never say anything that could even be misconstrued to sound like it's you against the fans. That's just,
I agree.
You don't do that.
Well, see,
it's just hard.
Bulls fans or Bears fans, whoever I've been interacting with on Twitter so far today, were like, well, I interpreted it as, because of the way he phrased it, it makes it seem like, man, shut up. Have you spoken every word that you've ever uttered out of your mouth perfectly for your entire life? Do you sometimes start a sentence and then slip up what you're saying and then realize that you need to kind of readjust what you're trying to, the point you're trying to make while you're talking? Yeah. Anyone crucify him for that is a freaking moron.
It just sucks too, because like the story of this game, the stories that people should be talking about today was that touchdown? Did the ball get over the line? Should they have knock-on shotgun there? But like now we're just talking about Justin Fields hates Bears fans and Chicagoans. So that just sucks.
Yeah.
Like the loss was tough enough. You don't have to like compound things by, even if it's like completely made up or whatever, like fans are just taking it the wrong way. It sucks that it's happening.
Yeah, it sucks that it's happening. He's young. He took a bad loss. They didn't want to lose. And yeah, it came out. But I mean, immediately, Will, when he said it, I was like, here we go.
Oh no.
I knew what was coming.
That's exactly my reaction too.
I knew what was coming.
Because those meathead fans are out there.
Oh no.
Dr. Earl, the ball crossed the plane. I think everyone agreed
it did.
with that.
Yeah,
even
did.
People who aren't Bears fans watching that primetime game on Twitter last night were like, yeah, that looks pretty conclusive to me. But was I surprised that they didn't overturn that call on Sunday Night Football in Lambeau? Not at all.
Yeah.
Absolutely not at all.
What do you say,
And then
Will?
the wheels just fell off after that. I mean, it just like completely. I mean, they did not play well. I mean, it was not a good game, but like
No, it was like 4 straight 3 and outs, whatever, in the middle, spanning the second and third quarter. It was bad.
They're lucky they were getting yards on the ground because Justin Fields had 11 throwing attempts. That's just insane. Like, you cannot win a football game if you're going to do that.
Yeah. And dude, what was wild, they gave up 3 points in the second half to the Packers, dude. That was so crazy. Like 3 to Aaron Rodgers and them, man. So they made adjustments. They were opportunity to be in it, and that touchdown definitely would have changed a lot of things. But yeah, it wasn't good. Like, overall, that whole performance was not good. But they had a shot. But
how dare an NFL quarterback say that he cares more about winning football games than I do?
I'm up at 6 a.m.
The
making
nerve.
bratwurst every day. They making the bratwurst on a Sunday at 6 a.m. Getting in my minivan and driving to the game. I'm prepared. How dare you say that? Oh God, stop it!
Can you translate that? I didn't get any of that.
Oh, do you not speak Dave's dumb Chicago fan?
You don't speak dumb Chicago fan? Yeah, you don't speak that. You don't speak that.
I intentionally do not understand that.
Well, something that is less frustrating than that Bears-Packers game last night is the fun news that we got yesterday leading up to the noon football games, which was a tweet from Shams Charania. Do we have that tweet, Joey? Talking about the Bulls' latest addition to training camp. It is Shams Charania saying free agent Kostas Antetokounmpo is signing a training camp deal with the Chicago Bulls and will compete for a 2-way spot, sources tell The Athletic. Antetokounmpo spent 3 seasons spanning the Lakers and Mavericks and played for Greece in Eurobasket this summer. Thank you, Joey. Gentlemen, we talked about this when it first kind of hit the NBA Twitter sphere earlier this summer, and it was a report from, I believe, a European NBA writer who had a beat on some pre-existing relationship between AK and Kostas Antetokounmpo. And we, at the time, were like, well, that might be interesting. And, of course, Giannis 2026, here we go. Well, now it's for real. Giannis's brother will be competing to earn a spot at Bulls training camp. What do we think about this?
I mean, yeah, why not? Like, when we talked about this before, I immediately was like, this is a play for Giannis. This is clearly a play to get Giannis and let him know there's room for him here, and your brother will be here as long as you want to come here. So there's that. But I think also, Matt, what's key is the point you just made, the relationship that already established between AK and Kostas. So I think, he's not just going to bring him in here because he's his brother. He actually, has talent. He actually can perform on the floor. So he's going to compete for that 2-way contract. And I like that. I like the fact that it's basically, it feels real wrestling-like to me, to just throw the contract and hang it in the center of the ring, and whoever can climb up and get it, wins the contract. So, I guess between him, Malcolm Hill, and someone else. So, yeah, I like it. He's skilled, he's tall, he's big, and it just doesn't hurt having that name across the back of the jersey and having your brother an hour away. So you can just come down, maybe just come check him out. Because remember, Giannis would come check out his brother. Didn't the Bulls have him in the Windy City Bulls, or wasn't he in that organization for a while? Or he was with some G League team. I remember that his other brother, he would come down to Chicago and watch him perform in that game. He might do the same here for this brother. Just come down. It's an hour trip, sit in the crowd. Let us, applaud you, and tell you wonderful things. And, hey, come watch your brother, chill out with the Bulls. So I'm all for it. I do want to see his skill set too, though. I do want to see that as well.
I absolutely zoned out as soon as you said to have that name across the back of his jersey. And it just made me think that the Bulls used to play for the Bulls across their chest, but now they're playing for Antetokounmpo on their back.
Matt already told you he's having a bad day. Why would you do this?
Well, all right. I mean, yeah, I don't know how much there actually is to say about him. He had like one good game in Eurobasket where he scored like 19 and had 13 boards. It was an exhibition game against Turkey. And they've got some NBA players, including my boy Alpi Şengün. But for other than that, he just barely played. So I don't know if he's actually going to do anything, but as I said before, like he's big, he is an athlete, and the Bulls don't have anybody like that other than Patrick Williams. So you may as well try to get guys in. The thing that's interesting to me that I was curious about, and I think there's still a ton of uncertainty now for me at least, is the Shams report said that he's going to be competing for a two-way spot. Right. And 12 days ago, he also reported that the Bulls had signed Malcolm Hill to their second two-way spot. Obviously, Justin Lewis already had their first one, which he signed on draft night after going undrafted. So the fact that he's competing for one of those roles, I think, is interesting. I'm not really sure what that means for Malcolm Hill, for Justin Lewis, if either of those guys end up getting waived. But it's interesting. And I think they've got now 17 guys going into their training camp roster. I think you're allowed to have up to 20. So there's some competition, and like that position is a premium for the Bulls team. So I'm glad they brought him in. We'll see if he's actually a player, but I think you kind of have to take swings on guys like that.
Let me ask you a question real quick, Will. Outside of his name, is there something that you see that's a little tantalizing about his game?
Definitely just like the size and athleticism combination. He's not really a shooter at all, but he can finish around the rim. He can set screens and dive. I think he could play a little bit of 4, a little bit of 5. And I mean, he's just going to be like a versatile defender. So the Bulls, like I said, they don't really have anybody like that. And especially with Lonzo out, who's like clearly, the first or second best defensive player on the team, there isn't really another guy. And so maybe Kostas could be somebody who like comes in and defends bigger wings. I'm not really sure because he's just so young and unproven. But like I said, I mean, there's obviously some like interesting skills there, some interesting like profile in terms of like the size and athleticism. So it's a smart move, I think, to try to take a swing on somebody like that.
I shout out to Big Dave for the use of tantalizing there. I love that word. So good. I find it interesting also what the deal is with Malcolm Hill, who's going to end up with that second two-way contract, because we have seen, and maybe less so than in the year and the year plus where COVID was a real problem in the league, how important those two-way contracts are, but they're still important, especially for a team as snake-bitten injury-wise as the Bulls have been over the last forever.
Decade.
Yeah. I see old Bugness saying Giannis is sending his brother in as a spy. Get him out. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the other Antetokounmpo family news, and it came after this announcement, I believe, is that Alex Antetokounmpo was signed and then waived by Milwaukee, and they are expecting that he will end up playing for the Wisconsin Herd this season. Wow. So it could have been like a retaliatory move by the Bucks to be like, oh, you're signing one of Giannis's brothers? Well, we're going to add another Giannis brother. How dare you?
This man going to make sure his whole family eat, and I love it. and they're all in the vicinity. Like, nobody's that far away. Everybody's like an hour away from me. This is the best. Shout out to Giannis for being
great. Actually, Alex moved over from Greece to play high school ball in Milwaukee. I think he was on the 905 Raptors last year. That's he's like 2021. So he could be something. I think he had like a higher like recruiting profile than Kostas or Thanasis. Obviously not better than Giannis, but in terms of like projections and potential, he seems like he'd be number 2. So good for them.
Do you know what Kostas' nickname is according to Basketball Reference?
No, but I'm dying to.
It is Greek Freak 2.0.
Wow.
Why get Giannis when you could get 2.0?
How have they not changed that yet? 2.0 theoretically does mean a better version, right?
It does mean that, yes.
like the lawnmower 4.0 from Manscaped is new and improved compared to the lawnmower 3.0.
Why would they put that on this kid? That ain't right, man. Don't put that on him.
No, that's like, no, you're Giannis 0.125 is what you
That's
are.
like saying Patrick Williams is going to be Kawhi Leonard or something like that.
Was that a shout out to your own column from last week?
Could be.
With the flex.
Well, speaking of Patrick, we're still going to talk about potential most improved players on this Bulls squad coming up for the 22-23 season. And before that, we're going to touch on a couple of updates regarding the CBA and those negotiations and some potential changes. But first, today's episode, oh, you guys know what time it is. It's time for me to talk about Green Ridge Farm and their delicious meats and cheeses. Green Ridge Farm is a Chicago local meat and cheese company offering you a better all-natural option. Makers of all-natural deli meat, sausages, and their famous, delicious meat sticks.
Meat
that are
stick!
perfect for tailgating. We'll have some at our CHGO Bulls tailgate on this coming Sunday. Happy hour, school lunches, anything you can think of. These all-natural meat sticks are hardwood smoked for 8 hours, and with 16 grams of protein per stick, they make a perfect post-workout snack too. Meat sticks come in both chicken and Black Forest beef. There's also a pork meat stick, flavors like jalapeno cheddar and spicy chili. Delicious because they're made from recipes generations in the making, and being all natural, they deliver a fresh and flavorful alternative at snack time. You can always find them in the refrigerated section of Costco, Sam's Club, or in your local Chicagoland grocery store. They also make their own mustard and a variety of mustard flavors like horseradish mustard. There's a red jalapeno mustard. And I tried a few of them when, shout out to Charlie, the rep from Green Ridge Farms, came to our studio last week, and we did some grilling before our 3 o'clock show. Every kind of meat that I tried was delicious. The mustards that I tried were delicious. And y'all know me. If there's one thing I care about putting in this face hole, is meat. Green Ridge Farm is where it's at, y'all. I just earlier this morning made a big fat online order. It's going to show up at my door in 3 days. Meat sticks, brats, hot dogs, 3 different kinds of mustard.
Oh,
you know where I got it? GreenRidgeFarm.com. And if you place an order right now at GreenRidgeFarm.com and use promo code CHGO, if you order at least 3 of their meat products, including a pack of their meat sticks, those meat sticks will be free.
What?
So what are you waiting for?
Free meat?
Go build a cart at GreenRidgeFarm.com. Get yourself some delicious meat sticks for free and get yourself a variety of their other delicious meat and cheese products. Try it. I'm telling you.
I like that. That puts Matt in a good mood. It's wonderful.
We should start the show with that, I think, next time.
Yeah, start the show with that. And also, you should start your day with this. Those 75 high-quality vitamins and minerals, that whole food source superfood, those probiotics, and oh, my sweet Lord, the adaptogens. Oh, they start your day correctly. That's Athletic Greens, y'all, the AG1. The special blend of ingredients that support your gut health, nervous system, immune system, energy, recovery, focus, and your aging. All the things that you want to make sure are taken care of. Cost you less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health. It's cheaper than getting all those different supplements yourself. You're investing in that all-in-one nutritional insurance. It's lifestyle friendly, dairy free, gluten free. It's vegan. Contains less than 1 gram of sugar. No GMOs. No nasty chemicals. No artificial anything. And it does all this while still tasting amazing. But don't take my word for it. Take the word of the man who flew all the way back here to the city so he can stock up on that wonderful thing called Athletic Greens. That is Will the Thrill. Tell him about
exactly
it.
What I did. I got my Athletic Greens shipped in. That's the only good thing about being gone for 2 months is when you come back, you got 2 months supply. Luckily, I had some. I had those travel packs, so I was able to make it all the way through my trip. And I got this extra bag now. I'm thinking maybe I do a giveaway. I don't know if people would be interested in Athletic Greens, but we'll maybe do that for the CHGO Bulls.
I'm sure the people want to scoop it and dump it and shake it.
And of course, they want to feel it. And also, if they can't get that, we'll make it even easier for you. And we'll give you a free 1-year supply of that immune supporting vitamin D and 5 of those free travel packs that Will love so much. All you got to do is visit athleticgreens.com/CHGO Bulls. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/CHGO Bulls and take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance because it's Athletic Greens. You scoop it, you dump it, you shake it, you drink it. Thrillium!
You feel it.
All in your soul.
Yes, sir. Yeah, chasing down meat sticks with Athletic Greens, Sam. You're absolutely right.
Beautiful thing, man.
All right, guys. So a little bit of interesting news on the NBA this morning that dropped. And again, from Shams Charania, who just does not take any days off, even in these final weeks of the off season in the NBA.
Mhm.
He talked about how they're still working towards a new CBA between the league and the Players Association, the deadline for which is early on this season, December 15th, 2022. And that there are a few things in particular that they are negotiating on and could be on the verge of changing in this new CBA. So let's just kind of quickly highlight what those are and what we think about them. Let's start with this one, which is probably the most interesting. Thank you, Joey. The new draft eligibility rules, which are going to do away with the 19-year-old age minimum requirement that the league brought in 2004, 2005, sorry, and go back to allowing high school players to make the leap directly to the NBA without needing 1 year of playing internationally or playing college ball or playing in the NBA's G League development system. These changes could come into effect as early as 2024's NBA draft. Gentlemen, I have no complaints about this. I think it's great. These players who are at this level of talent, those who are going through and dealing with the NCAA's BS about, well, we don't want to pay our players, they're students first and athletes second, and all that BS. Anyone who has the skill to get drafted into the NBA, even if they are 18 and coming out of high school, go play. I have no issue with this. What about you guys?
Zero issue with it. I think it's awesome. If you're grown enough to go fight, you're grown enough to go play. That's how I've always looked at it. Allow them kids to do that. So yeah, like imagine having, a golden ticket and they're telling you can't cash it for a year. Like that's real tough. And even deeper than that, like I'm thinking of circumstances that several of those kids might be in where, them making that leap can immediately improve the situation of their family around them immediately, just by them going and playing a sport that they love, that they have sacrificed for all of their life to get to that point, and they can help their family. So allow that to be a thing. It's not really a thing anywhere else. Baseball assign you when you're 12. You know what I mean? Like hockey assign you super early. Like tennis starts you super early. These sports do that. So allow basketball to be the same thing. If they can play, they should be allowed to play. And the other thing I thought of immediately was this is a LeBron James rule. That was the next thing I thought of.
That's what Lord Zobey in the comments said. LeBron wants his youngest son playing ASAP.
Thank you. I'm glad it's not just me. That was the very first thing I thought of was, this is trying to get Bronny in the league. This is what this is going to do. So yeah, that drops that age requirement, allows him to get there because LeBron said he wanted to play with his son. He made that no bones about that he wanted to play with his son. So the sooner, I'm sure, the better it is for LeBron, because even though he's a marvel, at taking care of his health and what he's doing on the floor and still looking amazing at the age that he is and the longevity he's played, time is going to win. No matter what, that's going to happen. So the faster that can happen and he can make that dream come true for his family, the better for LeBron. So yeah.
The only downside for me is that instead of only like 2 years of us saying, well, he's only 20, now we're going to get 3 years of people saying he's only 20, he's only 18, he's only 19. But I totally agree with you, Dave. Like and they've been working up to it too. Like they allow college players now to make money off their likeness. They put in the G League Ignite team, which allows players out of high school to come play. Guys have been going to Australia. Like it's leading up to this direction. I think it's about time that they just say, all right, like if you're ready to play, come play. Or if a team wants to take a swing on you, then fine. Of course, being like the freak show Bulls fan that I am, I also thought about this through the lens of the Bulls. And basically what this would do, if it does happen as early as 2024, would be basically create that class as like a double draft class where the best prospects from 2025 would also be eligible to be drafted the year before. So the Bulls owe picks in 2023 and 2025. This could be a huge opportunity for the Bulls to get, one of their picks in off years with a player who otherwise would be drafted a little bit higher, depending on where they pick. So it could be really big for the Bulls too. But I think in general, it's the right move. It was always going to happen. And, with the CBA coming up, it just makes sense.
Yeah. I think the key word you just hit, or key phrase you hit on there, Will, that is what this all boils down to me, is teams that want to take a swing. That's what you're doing. If you're going to draft somebody out of high school, you're taking a swing on that player being good enough to play in the NBA and maybe have some kind of huge ceiling star potential. We have at least one person who doesn't agree with this in the comments. Eco Bean saying high school players going straight to the NBA. It's bad enough to draft 19-year-olds in the lottery and expect them to turn into the next Kawhi Leonard. But now high school kids. Okay, look, those of us who are old enough remember names like Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, Tracy McGrady, Jermaine O'Neal.
Come on with it.
Oh, and then what's the LeBron James straight from high school. If you don't remember that because you got a bad memory or you're too young, that's on you. It's taking a swing. Because guess what? There are plenty of other names of people who were drafted into the NBA straight out of high school who didn't have what it took to make a name for themselves and stick in the league. And that's the teams taking a swing. Sometimes they hit a home run and sometimes they don't. Yeah. But if a kid wants to go from high school to the NBA and try to prove that he has what it takes, there shouldn't be a rule stopping him from doing that. It's about taking a swing. And some of them turn into NBA legends and some of them don't. And guess what?
It's kind of
those things are fine.
It's the same thing as just drafting like college kids. You know, you take a swing. Like it either works out or it doesn't. But like this it deepens the pool and it allows guys who could be ready to, have a chance at making real life-changing money a year earlier. And I don't ever want to be somebody that would like prevent a guy from doing that. So I guess like if you're talking about reasons why this would be a bad thing, like, I don't know, I can't even really think of any. Like it doesn't really make sense why we would continue to prevent guys. Like I said, if they're ready or if teams want to we're in the era of teams tanking for talent, right? And so if they want a chance to do that, if you want guys to just like incubate in their G League system for a year or two, then by all means, like it's just another avenue for you to try to develop your team and your talent. And I think that's always fun. Like there shouldn't just be one way to do it. And so I think this opens up other pathways for teams to get good. And it also probably increases the importance on player development and internal development and having an infrastructure and coaches that can really train guys up and teach them how to play in your system. So I think it's really cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. And I love when Will and I think alike. Because that's exactly what I was going to say. Will, like, do you know the amount of trash that guys who spent 4 years in college and came out and then were out of the league in about a year or two? Like,
are you thinking about Taylor Hutchison right now? I'm thinking about Taylor Hutchison right now.
It's a legend. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a crapshoot. You know what I'm saying? But then you can also have a Tim Duncan out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like it can still work both ways. It's a lottery. That's how lotteries work, man. You don't know how it's going to turn out. There is no golden ticket in this. You have no clue. Think Zion Williamson wouldn't have been better if he just went straight to the league instead of spending a year at Duke? What change was there? Do you think Kevin Durant changed? Then he just spending a year at Texas? You know what I mean? Shout out to Texas being number 22 all the way. You
could say the same thing about Derrick Rose in Memphis, man. You really can.
Right. Did it change anything? You know what I'm saying? He still was going to be that if he went straight to the league. Like, that's just what it is. If these guys go and they decide, I want to spend 3 years in college, that's a different conversation. But a lot of them are just going because you told them they had to go for 1 year. That's the only reason they're there, all right? And some of them said, we're going to go to overseas and do it because I don't even want to go to college for that 1 year. Let's eliminate all that. Let them dudes get in there, have an opportunity to play. If they can play, it'll show up that they can play. If they can't, they'll get something again next year. So that's just how it works.
Yeah, well said by Dontavius in the comments. These guys work their whole life for that. Let them hoop. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, couple other things in these updates about the CBA and talking points. The mental health designation. Guys, this, of course, rings back to what Ben Simmons went through with the Philadelphia 76ers this past season before finally getting traded to Brooklyn. But they're, I guess, going to be negotiating whether players can cite mental health as a designation to basically mean exactly the same thing as a physical injury designation, and maybe those becoming one and the same. Shams saying, similar to when players treat external injuries, this new edition would give players the ability to treat their mental health concerns with the same gravity, allowing for things such as the seeking of second opinions and psychiatrist visits. Also pointed out in that column from Shams that DeMar DeRozan, along with Kevin Love and others, have been on the forefront, not just for the NBA, but professional sports in America, advocating for being more open about mental health among professional athletes and everyone. To me, this is great. This is nothing but great. Is there any kind of, well, but what if thought of people trying to take advantage of this if they are in some sort of contract dispute? Because that's kind of what it seemed like might have been happening with Ben Simmons.
Yeah, you can definitely say that stuff, but I can say that about injuries as well. You can say the same thing. Guys sitting out. Why do you think guys are getting rest? You know what I mean? Like, what? Some of them aren't injured. All right. I don't know if break it to you or not. Some of them aren't injured. They're just sitting out. So yeah, you can say that about anything because nothing's perfect. That's what I'm trying to let people know. You can't judge this on something absolute. Like, yo, this is what will stop it, and this will absolutely do it. So just removing it means you're removing, help for players like DeMar DeRozan spoke of, like Kevin Love spoke of. Those guys have real issues about this stuff, and this really could save a life. If there's a chance you can actually save a life, you take it. That's just how it goes. You have to deal with whatever comes with it. Yes, there are going to be some people that might manipulate it or try to use it to their own benefit and their own gain. That's the world. That's anything that comes with it. That does not mean you remove this from this, because this is vitally important, man. I love DeMar and Kevin Love and how they have spoken out about this, because this is a real thing. It is a situation that was previously taboo, never spoken about. Toughen up, walk it off, shake it off, deal with it, play through it, grind it out. Those kind of sayings come with that when you're talking about mental health. Now it's like, hey, man, no, I really, truly need a break. Yo, something is wrong. I need to fix this. This is a beautiful thing. This is humanizing athletes, because some people think of them as robots. This is humanizing them, letting them know that, yes, they are human beings, dude, that deal with real straight up issues. Don't matter their money. Some of these cats still just dealing with issues they've dealt with since they were children because they're regular people, man. So, yeah, I'm all for this stuff, Will.
Yeah, I'm 1000% in agreement with you. And my only, I don't know if concern is the right word, but I guess my wish for it is that I hope fans and teams and other, front offices, whatever, that they really respect this, because, I don't want people to go on to the mental health designated list or whatever, and then get bashed by their fan base because they're not mentally strong enough to play. Or a team says, well, this guy's got mental health issues, I don't want to sign him to a next contract. So I really hope that kind of thing doesn't happen. But to your point, I mean, DeMar has been really outspoken about this. Some guys don't want to be. Some guys want it to be more private. And so I hope that they, have the space, or maybe this does sort of make it normalize talking about it enough to where they do want to do something like this. So I think it has real potential to be a really, really positive thing. And hopefully other leagues and other sports will start to do things like it. But I don't want people to use this as a reason to knock somebody or to not pay them down the road or whatever it might be. Not saying that people are going to take advantage, but I think people are going to have to still have a ton of respect for people for doing it like that. I think that takes a lot of courage to especially be one of the first players to go on to one of these, I don't know what it would be called, but the mental health designated list or whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well said by both of you. I can't add anything to that, so I won't. Moving on, last thing about the CBA updates before we get to most improved player talk. Harsher luxury tax penalties.
We don't have to worry about that, Matt.
While the prospect of a hard cap on team salaries appears to be a non-starter for the Players Association, more punitive penalties for the luxury tax system is a point of emphasis for the league. Thank you, Joey. And some team governors. Team execs believe the tax penalty will be arguably the biggest issue to resolve in the next CBA. However, changing the overall structure of the tax could be an aspect both sides address. So interesting here that from Sham's perspective, the luxury tax thing could be the one sticking point in this new CBA that both sides, by and large, agree will get done before that December 15th deadline without any real issues. Unlike, when the last time they did this, the league was trying to deal with all the revenue loss from COVID. It was dicey. People feared a lockout briefly. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen with this newest CBA agreement. but that the luxury tax could be the sticking point. As you just said jokingly, Will, not really relevant to Bulls fans now or only the one time ever in the past. You know what this is? It's great news for Grandpa Jerry, who's looking at that and saying, ooh, higher tax penalties for team over the luxury tax limit? That means a bigger paycheck back in my direction for the teams that stayed under the luxury tax this year. Yippee. Tax them all you want.
Yeah, I think it was interesting. They mentioned in that article that, it was like a non-negotiable to not have a hard cap, which basically would, prevent teams from exceeding the salary cap altogether. You wouldn't be able to like go into a luxury tax. There wouldn't be one. I'm a little bit surprised that, after everything that Joe Lacob had to say after their run and like just paying the greatest luxury tax bill of all time, and then the repeater tax and like basically going $500 million above what the salary cap is to pay for this team, that like the NBA would kind of go the other direction. I kind of assumed that they would want to allow for teams who are willing to spend to continue to use that as a competitive advantage and create these really, really good teams. But this kind of thing seems like it would be, I think it would actually increase the difference between teams like the Warriors and the Clippers who are willing to do whatever it takes, and teams like the Bulls or the Orlando Magic or smaller market teams. I don't know why I said Magic, but just any team as an example, who are now even less likely to go into the tax, even less likely to have a really competitive team as a result of that, and create even more disparity between the team's elite or the league's elite and other teams in the league. So I thought like a hard cap would, something like a hard cap, I think would make more parity in the league where, players aren't going to go to teams that like the Warriors because they just simply cannot get paid as much if they go there. They're going to go to smaller market teams as a result. I get why they don't want to do that, but I think in some ways it could even make the league a little bit more lopsided. Maybe smaller amount of teams are going all in the tax, but those small amount of teams are now going to be like the clear contenders.
Interesting. So I'm sorry, when you called me up when you said it's going to make it more lopsided.
Yeah. So I guess my thought here is like, if now only 2 or 3 teams, let's say the Warriors, Clippers, are the only teams in the league that are willing to take on this super punitive tax penalty, right? Mm-hmm. Now they're the only teams in the league that are really paying up to have legitimate, title contending teams. Other teams aren't going to do that because they know they can't compete. And now we're back to this league where it's clear who's going to be in the Western Conference Finals, right? Like it's just going to be the Warriors and Clippers. I think that's kind of what the league doesn't want. They want more parity. They want it to be like, any team, any given Sunday kind of situation where any team could win on any given night.
Okay. I have nothing to add there. I just wanted that breakdown for you right there, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, and maybe it goes the other direction, but that was kind of my initial thought of just like, this could actually, maybe it's a lot more money out of Joe Lacob's pocket, and maybe at some point he's not willing to spend anymore. But until he gets to that point, he's going to be the only one spending, and that means the Warriors are going to have even more of an advantage against the other teams in the league who are unwilling to spend.
Yeah, I think you're right on the money on that, Will. Okay, so those are the pertinent CBA updates as we get closer to that December 15th CBA deadline in the NBA. Before we get to our last topic of the day, some most improved player discussion, we have a couple more things to tell you. Who wants to read Pins and Aces? Is it Big Dave or is it Will?
Oh, I got his back on this. I got you, Will.
Go for it, Dave. Go for it, Dave.
You fresh off the plane, man. Don't even worry about that. When he steps fresh off the plane, he got to be right. Because I know Will wants to go hit the links. He wants to get on that golf course and do it right. And so he's got to have a proper polo. He's got to have a cool hat. He's got to have a proper golf bag. And the place he's got to do that at is Pins and Aces. They are the official golf apparel partner of CHGO. You want to get more compliments on your gear and your game? Well, you want to mess with Pins and Aces. Not only do they have those polos, hats, and golf bags that I just talked about, but that thing, y'all, that beer sleeve, that innovative product that allows you to soar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them things, 7 beers right inside your golf bag. Keep them drinks cold the entire round. That is going to get Matt on the links. 7 cold beers he might be up in there. So check out pensandaces.com. Use the code CHGO. Receive 15% off your first order, and you'll get free shipping. That's pensandaces.com.
I need Will in a Pins and Aces polo on our show. I need it.
I need
like,
Matt with a beer sleeve strapped across his chest, like a bow and arrow,
and a utility belt filled with meat sticks.
I am ready to golf. Right.
Adam said Will looks like the golfer. Peck looks like the disc golfer. You are correct, Adam. I play frisbee golf.
Will is stupid. Oh man.
Goodness. All right. Also, in case you haven't heard, we're having a CHGO Bears tailgate party this Sunday leading up to Bears Texans. Joey, I think we've got a graphic for it too if you want to throw that up. But join us for our very first official CHGO Bears tailgate ahead of Bears Texans Sunday, September 25th. That's this coming Sunday. The 4-hour pregame party begins at 8 a.m. and goes all the way to kickoff. Our all-inclusive tailgate experience at the corner of Michigan and Roosevelt features a top-rated food truck, brews and booze, games, and music from a local DJ for only $34 a ticket. And the lot is less than a 15-minute walk to Soldier Field through beautiful Grant Park. Limited parking upgrades are also available, but they are going fast. So if you want to bear down at the biggest and best party in the Windy City, featuring and attending all of us too, come hang out with us. Say what's up. I'll be there. You guys gonna be there?
I'll be there.
Boom.
I'll be there.
Boom.
I'll be there. I'm emailing Jake right now.
Come hang out at the CHGO Bears tailgate party with us, with our CHGO Bears crew, with our whole CHGO family, our whole Chicago sports family. Check the link in this episode description below for more info, and you can go to that Eventbrite site through that link to get your ticket. That's food and booze. All the food you want, all the booze you want for $34 for a 4-hour tailgate. That's an incredible deal.
Super deal.
And we'll be there hanging out. So come hang out with us at the CHGO Bears tailgate party Sunday, September 25th, right here in Chicago.
Dude, Cat's gonna be slapped. Ready to go talk some Yale about some Bears. Just feeling good. Look at Matt. He's ready.
Ooh.
I gotta get you one of those beer sleeves before this.
Dude, you do. I'm
going on Pins and Aces right now.
15% off, free shipping.
Yeah.
Do they have overnight shipping is the question.
Yeah, I hope that my Green Ridge Farm order arrives between now and then so I can just show up with pockets full of meat sticks for everybody. I got a pocket full of meat sticks. I got a pocket full of meat sticks. You know who needs the pocket full of meat sticks because he's a young growing man? It's Patrick Williams.
Ooh.
Will Patrick Williams be the Bulls' most improved player for the 22-23 season? I've heard some people in the comments chiming in already. Dontavia saying he hopes Pat's most improved. Charles saying Pat will be the Bulls' most improved. Other leading candidate has to be Dosunmu coming into year 2, right after a rookie year that saw him make 40 starts. Do you guys think that there are any dark horse candidates as we talk about who would win the Bulls' most improved player award this upcoming season?
You know what? The person that came into my head when I was thinking about other candidates was Javonte Greene. And
wow.
I thought about him because
your C-Red UK crew would love that answer.
Yes, and shout out to the C-Red UK crew. Shout out to Matt and shout out to Neil who had me on the show this past weekend. We had a great time. Make sure you all go check that out. But we discussed something like this on their show, talking about these awards that be given out. But I know Matt will be happy because he loves Matt loves Javonte Greene. Matt in the UK loves Javonte Greene very, very much. And I thought about him because when we were giving out our grades for these guys, the thing I kept saying about him, if he gets a 3-point shot, he gets paid. And I feel like if that's what he brings this season, just do what he did last year, but adds a 3-point shot to that. He's vicious. Like, he is completely vicious. He's already shown you he can play he can play at least 3 positions. Excuse me. He already shown he can play 3 positions. So adding a 3-pointer to that, and he's going to be wide open. He's not going to be, dribbling down, pulling up, like he's James Harden or Curry, but he's going to get wide open looks. If he's hitting those looks at a high clip, watch out. Javonte Greene could really, truly be a beast this season if that happens.
Yeah, it's funny we're not really talking about him as even like a rotation player at all. He started a ton of games. He played heavy minutes at the 4 with Patrick out, and I think like they still don't have a backup 4 option. I mean, it's him and Derrick Jones Jr. So I mean, he could play a lot of minutes, and he was awesome last year. For me, I chose Patrick Williams just because I think he's got the most scope to grow of anybody on the Bulls. We'll see like how much growth he actually has this year and like to what degree. Like, has he become a really good rotation player? Does he become a really good 3rd or 4th option? Does he become a 1st option? Probably not. But it's just interesting to kind of track him as he grows because he really does have, I think, the highest ceiling of anybody on the group. What about Nikola Vucevic? I mean, he was brutal last year shooting. I think he could have some room to bounce back. I hope. I saw a stat somewhere on Twitter today where he had like the 10th lowest mid-range field goal percentage. And we talk a lot about how his 3-point percentage was down last year. Like, he really did not shoot the ball well outside of the restricted area where he shot over 70%, which is awesome. But I think he could have a big bounce back shooting year. So hopefully he looks a lot better too.
Yeah, I love the sneaky Vooch answer. Go ahead, Dave.
I do too. And just to say it, the person I picked was Ayo Dosunmu. I did pick Ayo. He was the guy I picked about being the most improved because he's the one I usually talk about, 90% mental and 10% physical. He's the one for me that has conquered that 90%. And everything is just kind of.
Have you seen him? He conquered the 10% too. Dude is jacked.
I mean, no, he's still working. I'm talking about adding to his game. You know what I'm saying? Like adding little things and, tiny things to his game. Like, he doesn't have to worry about the mental aspect of it. Now it's just like, let me just add every single year and get better and better and better and stuff like that. So you're right. No, man, my boy say he looked like Creed. Like he looks amazing right now. Like he's incredible shape. So just adding to his game, the longevity of the season, adding little shots to his game, adding little crossover moves and things like that, getting a little better, at his point guardsmanship. He would
there it is.
He would be a little more amazing. So yeah, it could be him.
He's having a quote monster offseason, whatever that means.
That's what we keep hearing. A monster offseason.
Monster.
And the other thing that maybe makes sense for predicting Ayo as most improved player, not just because of coming in from year 1 to year 2 and what we saw from him in year 1, is opportunity. We always wonder about, okay, how many strides and how big of a stride can Pat Williams really make when he's like the 4th or 5th option on the offensive depth chart every time down the floor? Ayo got an opportunity last season as a rookie to play a lot more minutes than he probably expected and then pretty much all Bulls fans expected. Sadly, because of injuries to guys who were ahead of him on that depth chart. When we get these non-updates about Lonzo Ball once a week or once every other week, it looks like Ayo could be in store for another season with heavy minutes and even some starts if Billy decides to go that route instead of starting the old Wiley Beck-Goran or Alex Caruso if he wants to keep that Caruso pop off the bench. That, to me, makes a lot of sense for why Ayo could be in store for a big year 2, is if he has that big of a workload again, because at least until who knows when, Lonzo's in street clothes.
And amazing street clothes also, by the way. He's immaculately dressed.
That's interesting, though. Josh in the comments just said Ayo has a better chance of MIP if he's coming off the bench. Can be more offensive minded in that role.
No, that's very true. I completely agree with that because in the starting role, I mean, we know who's 1, we know who's 2, we know who's 3. So it would be between Patrick Williams and him, battling for that. But coming off the bench, he will be looked at as that spark, that guy that comes off to give you that spark, that 6th man or 7th guy off the bench. He can be that. No, I see that. That's a pretty good point.
For me, though, and we can talk about, too, who we selected for MIP for the league. But for me, like, the jump that you need to have, this is just like a stubborn will thing. The jump that you need to have to go to become most improved player in year 2, I think just has to be so ridiculously high where it's like Desmond Bane last year, I think was in the running. He averaged 9 points per game his rookie season and then went up to like 19. Like you need to really turn into like a star player from basically just being like a regular rotation rookie. So I have a hard time voting for guys in their second year. They're supposed to get a lot better. Third year for me is an area where, you know, maybe the first couple of years it went a certain way. Like Patrick, I think is in a good position where he can have a huge jump this year because, you know, everything that happened his rookie year and then missing time, but now it's year 3 and this is like time to make a big leap. So for me, and I don't know if you want to, or if you're ready to talk about this, but for me, the MIP is, I think it's going to be Devin Vassell. I'm very high on Devin Vassell.
Wow.
I think he is going to have all the opportunity in the world without DeJounte Murray in the with the Spurs anymore. I think he is going to handle the ball a lot. I think he's going to be just like a star player on both ends. You know, he's not going to be as big a name as the guys you have with Mobley and Edwards, but I think he's going to have a big leap this year.
I love that sneaky dark horse pick.
See if you can find it on PointsBet. Could be a good one.
I'll check and see if it's there.
CHGO.
And if the odds are insane, I'll throw a little money on it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm with you in that I went with Patrick Williams. Big Dave, we know why you went with Io. And you know, as far as it's year 3, it's time to prove it for Patrick. Dave, I love that you have Anthony Edwards here. So you're thinking he wins most improved because he goes from being a legit star in this league to like a superstar sensation. Is that what you're kind of alluding to there?
2 reasons, yes. And that's one of them, is that he makes that super leap. Because, Matt, I can't get out of my head watching him live when we went to that game. When we saw Minnesota and the Bulls. I can't get that out of my head.
Filthy.
Oh, my gosh, man. Like, he was unbelievable. There was nothing anyone could do with him. He did whatever he wanted to. And he's yelling at Cat at the same time. And he's the rookie. He's snapping on him and snapping on the coach. I loved every second of it. I was like, this dude is amazing. But the other reason, Matt, is because last year the NBA changed the rules. Because we saw who won most improved last year, and that was Ja Morant. And they changed the rule because I never thought it would go to a player like that who we're expecting to be that dude. Like, yeah, you took that leap. You're Ja Morant, of course. You're number 2 pick. Yeah, you're Anthony Edwards. You're number 1 pick in the draft. You're supposed to be great. When they changed the rules on that last year, I was like, I see where it's going now.
That's a good point.
I'm going Anthony Edwards.
That's a very good point. And Will, I think you're right to say that it's hard to pick a year 1 to year 2 guy because it's usually the really impressive jumps from year 2 to year 3, and you're supposed to get better from year 1 to year 2. Certainly, according to our guy Mark K, even if year 2 only consists of 10 games. But I rocked with Mobley simply because of what I saw from him his rookie year. Like, I think that dude's a star. Everybody's talking about this big swing that they made for Donovan Mitchell, and they got Garland, they got Jared Allen. I think that as soon as the end of this upcoming season, or maybe the 23-24 season, of all of those wealth of star caliber players Cleveland has, Mobley's going to be the best among the group. Like, I seriously think his ceiling is that high. And people saying like, oh, well, Mitchell and Garland, like maybe Mobley can't really put that much of an impact on the game. And he already had a pretty impressive statistic rookie year. When you talk about the fact that the average, I believe 15 and 8 were his points and boards as a rookie. That's pretty darn good. And you would need to make a pretty significant leap to get that most improved, player kind of recognition. But what if he goes from 15 and 8 to 20 and 12 and does so on a team that goes from being knocked out of the play-in tournament to like the 4th or 5th seed in the East? That guy's getting looks and he's getting votes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if there's a second-year guy who could get it, it's Mobley. This dude has just unlimited potential. I love Mobley.
Yeah, he's gonna be awesome, man. Like, vicious. I just see Chris Bosh every time I see him. So yeah, he's gonna be awesome.
If Chris Bosh was like the defensive player of the year every single season, like he's just. I hate to do those kind of like.
No, do it.
Patrick Williams is gonna be Kawhi type of comparisons, but like, I really think Mobley's got that in him.
I don't know. Did you see that picture of Kawhi's thighs trending on Twitter today?
I did. I did. Kathai Leonard. I definitely saw it.
Leonard.
I definitely saw it.
Yeah.
Will, you'll love it.
I saw it.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to our pal Salim, who says he can't believe Dave didn't go with Matt Thomas for most improved Bulls player.
Well, wait till we get to MVP.
He had that
we
one
talking
ready.
about most improved. What do you mean? We talking about the legend out here. We talking about the greatest 3-point shooter in the world, bro. Relax. You gonna do most improved?
Before we get out of here, I have to read one more comment. Eco Bean, Kobe White and Dosunmu will make Zach LaVine expendable. Buddy.
Oh man.
Stay off the drugs. Just stay off the drugs. Get yourself some athletic greens.
Bring me to my next point, kids.
Some meat sticks from greenridgefarm.com. Lay off the hard drugs, okay?
Get some meat sticks, baby.
Please. All right, that's it for today. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Hit that thumbs up button. If you're watching this on YouTube and like today's episode, it helps us out a lot. Be sure you are subscribed to our CHGO Sports YouTube channel if you aren't already, so you get alerts whenever we're going live with an episode. We are under 200 away from 20,000 on YouTube subscriptions. Getting close.
Yes,
getting close. We'll be back tomorrow. We have a in-studio guest, Dave. Yes?
In-studio guest, yes.
And it's in addition to Will Gottlieb being an in-studio guest, because he's basically a guest now because he's been gone for a year and a half. JK, Will, I love you. I'm excited to have you back in studio tomorrow.
The seat will be ready.
Joining all of us will be a very fun guest.
Yes.
We've talked to a lot of voices of the Chicago Bulls, spanning TV, radio, podcasts. We're going to have another voice of the Chicago Bulls tomorrow.
That's right.
And then Wednesday, we're going to announce a little giveaway we're doing. Somebody say tickets.
Come on, Bulls Nation. No, you love it.
All right. Until then, you can follow us and find us on Twitter. Won't Gottlieb, Bow, BAWL Sports, Bulls_Peck. If you're going to complain about Justin Fields' comments today, leave me the hell alone on Twitter, because you're an idiot and I want nothing to do with you. And we are CHGO_Bulls. Shout out and thanks to our producer and our friend Joey Spathis as always.
Joey,
For Joey, Will, and Dave, I'm Matt. See you tomorrow, Bulls Nation. See Red be good.